Welcome to Net Present Value. This tutorial explains concepts of net present value. Let's consider a company such as a bakery that is considering an investment of $9,000 in a delivery truck. The company estimates the remaining life of the truck to be 4 years. The company projects that the delivery truck will generate additional business of $2,000, $3,000, $3,000, and $4,000 over the next 4 years. Let's put everything on a timeline to visualize the cash flows. Here we have the initial investment of $9,000 occurring at t equals 0 or today. Since this is a cash outflow, we show it below the timeline and with a negative sign. At t equals 1 or a year from now, we have the cash inflow of $2,000 shown above the timeline with a positive sign. At t equals 2, we have a cash inflow of $3,000 shown above the timeline with a positive sign. Likewise, at t equals 3, we have another cash inflow of $3,000 shown above the timeline with a positive sign. Finally, at t equals 4, we have the cash inflow of $4,000. Let's assume that the bakery borrows the initial investment of $9,000 from a bank at 10%. This becomes our cost of capital. To calculate the net present value, first we need to find the present value of the first cash flow. Then we find the present value of the second cash inflow. Then we find the present value of the third cash flow. Finally, we find the present value of the last cash inflow. To determine the net present value, we add present values of all cash inflows to the present value of cash outflows. The net result is a net present value or NPV. To find the present value, we use the formula future value equals present value times 1 plus r raised to the power of n. This can be rearranged to read present value equals future value divided by 1 plus r to the power of n. The future value in the formula is the specific cash flow. R is the cost of capital, which is 10% in our example, or 0.10 in decimals, and n is the number of time periods. By substituting the values in the formula, we find the present value of the first cash flow. We repeat the process for the second cash flow. This time the future value equals 3,000 and n equals 2, since the cash flow is expected to occur in 2 years. We repeat the process one more time for the third cash inflow. Finally, we find the present value of the last cash inflow. The process of finding present values based on the future values is also known as discounting. So we have discounted all future cash flows at 10%. We now add up all the present values and determine the NPV to be $283.51. So what can we conclude from this example? First, a positive NPV means that the present value of all cash inflows exceeds the present value of cash outflows. Second, a positive NPV of $283.51 means the present value of cash inflows exceeds the present value of cash outflows by $283.51. This is a good investment since it adds $283.51 to the value of the company. In part 2, we are going to use a financial calculator to determine the NPV. Thank you for watching this video.